Have you ever met someone who felt like home, but somehow it didn't last? You both liked each other. You had things in common. The connection was there, but still, slowly or suddenly, it slipped away. Not because someone cheated, not because someone lied, but because it felt like no one stayed long enough to build anything real. That's not just your story. That's our generation's story. We live in a time where everything is built for speed. Messages are instant. Groceries show up at your door in 10 minutes. We can meet someone new with a swipe, plan a date within an hour, and never see them again after dessert. And the worst part, that doesn't feel strange anymore. That is the norm. Modern dating has become this weird paradox where everyone is looking for something real, but almost no one acts like they are. We're addicted to connection, but allergic to commitment. We crave intimacy, but fear vulnerability. We want to be seen, but only through filters, on our terms, in our timing. We keep asking, where are the people who want something serious? But maybe the better question is, when was the last time I actually stayed long enough to build something serious? And I get it, I really do. Because slow love is terrifying in a world that moves this fast. Here's a hard truth. Most of us don't know how to handle love that doesn't overwhelm us. We say we want peace, stability, something calm. But when someone actually offers that, when someone is patient, grounded, emotionally available, we start looking for the spark elsewhere because we've been taught that love is chaos, that it has to hurt a little to feel real. Think about it. How many times have you chased someone who kept you guessing? How many times have you pulled away from someone who was clear, direct, and kind? That's not love's fault. That's conditioning. We've been conditioned to associate love with drama, with adrenaline, with people who don't text back. We've learned to crave highs and lows instead of stability and growth. We confuse anxiety with chemistry. We call inconsistency passion, and slowly we destroy every chance at something real. I remember talking to a friend, let's call her Emma. She had just ended things with someone who treated her well, like really well. He planned dates in advance. He remembered the little things. He communicated clearly. He was gentle with her past. But one day she said to me, I just didn't feel excited anymore. It felt too safe, too predictable. And I asked her, do you really want love, or do you just want the emotional roller coaster you're used to? She didn't answer, not because she didn't know, but because she did. Emma's story isn't rare. It's painfully common. We're out here letting the healthiest connections die because they don't match the dysfunction we've come to recognize as love. So how do we change that? How do we build love that doesn't collapse under the weight of our expectations? It starts with something radical, slowing down. Not slowing down as in being passive, slowing down as in being intentional. We need to get better at sitting in silence, at letting things unfold, at realizing that love doesn't always start with fireworks. It starts with a choice to stay, to show up, to try again, even when it's not exciting, to be bored sometimes, to be confused sometimes, to love even when it's not feeding your ego every 5 seconds, because that's where real connection grows, in the quiet, in the in-between, in the parts that don't make it to Instagram. Here are 3 things I've learned, and maybe they'll help you too. Stop expecting clarity from the first date. Give people time to unfold. Everyone is a slow-burning novel, not a headline. Learn the difference between anxiety and intuition. Sometimes What feels boring is actually just stable, and what feels thrilling is actually just your nervous system recognizing familiar chaos. Choose to build, not consume. Love isn't something you find. It's something you build with someone, piece by piece, day by day. And yes, it's hard, because building takes patience, and none of us were taught how to wait. But if you can relearn that, you can find something worth keeping. In a world built to distract us, choosing to love slowly might just be the most rebellious thing we can do. Choosing to love slowly is an act of rebellion, because when you slow down, you start noticing things the world doesn't want you to notice. You begin to see the human in front of you, not just their dating profile, not just their resume of traits, but the actual, flawed, evolving person. And more importantly, you begin to see yourself. When you stop chasing quick hits of validation, you're left with your own silence, your own patterns, your own wounds, and that's uncomfortable. But it's also where healing starts. Because here's something most people never say out loud. It's not that there's a shortage of good people, it's that most of us haven't done the inner work to recognize them when they're right in front of us. We sabotage, we ghost, we keep our walls up just in case. We say we're looking for something real, but we're terrified of actually being seen. And that's why real relationships don't survive modern dating. Not because people don't care, but because caring requires effort. And effort feels foreign when you've been conditioned to expect connection to be easy, instant, and exciting. But love, real love, isn't always exciting. Sometimes it's awkward. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's two people who are tired but still show up. And you know what? That's beautiful. Because the kind of love that lasts isn't the one that knocks you off your feet. It's the one that holds your hand when you're too tired to stand. The kind that listens more than it talks. The kind that grows in the background while the rest of the world is screaming for attention. And yeah, it doesn't always look sexy, but it feels like home. And when you've spent enough time being lost, home is all you really want. So if you're tired of the games, if you're exhausted from the almosts, if you're ready to feel something deeper than a dopamine hit, then maybe it's time to put down the phone, to stop performing, to look someone in the eye and say, I don't want perfect, I want honest, I want real, and then stay. Because the only way to build something that lasts is to stop running from the slowness that creates it. And if you're wondering whether this kind of love still exists, the answer is yes. But it doesn't show up when you're chasing. It shows up when you're ready to receive it. Love that stays isn't loud. It doesn't arrive with fireworks or grand gestures. It enters quietly, like sunlight through a window you forgot was there. It's in the way someone remembers how you like your coffee, the way they ask how your day really was, the way they show up when you're not at your best, and they don't flinch. And that kind of love, it takes time. It takes showing up again, and again and again, especially when it's not convenient, but it's also the kind that lasts. Because when the spark fades, and it always does, what you'll be left with is not chemistry, but choice. Two people who chose each other on the boring days, on the insecure days, on the I don't feel like talking, but I'll still sit beside you days. So here's my challenge to you. Next time someone makes you feel calm, safe, and seen, don't run. Don't call it boring. Don't look for chaos to fill the silence. Stay. Ask questions. Let them be real, and be real in return. Because the love you've been chasing, it's not in the thrill, it's in the stillness. It's not in the speed, it's in the staying. And if you can learn to love slowly, you just might find something that finally stays.